Have you ever bought something at Walmart, used it for less than 6 months, and had it break on you? That happens because you picked the wrong item out of thousands of choices on the shelf. Today, you're going to see 13 items that last for years, plus 3 items you should stay away from. You'd be awesome if you subscribed and liked this video. One, Pantry Star Airtight Storage Container Set. If you've ever opened a bag of flour and found little weevils crawling around inside, you know just how unsettling that feeling is. The Pantry Star 3-piece container set solves this exact problem for $19.99 for the whole set, which works out to less than $7 per container. The lids lock down at all 4 corners, creating a true seal that keeps air, moisture, and bugs from getting inside, unlike those flimsy plastic containers you'd pick up at a small grocery store. The plastic used to make these containers is BPA free, and after months of daily use, you won't see any cracking or warping on the lids or the body, even when kept near a hot stove. Many families share that they use this set to store sugar, rice, and dry nuts, and after more than a year, the food inside still stays as fresh as the day they opened the container. One customer left a review saying she switched her entire dry goods pantry over to this set after finding weevils in her old flour bag, and she hasn't dealt with that problem since. The 3 different container sizes also help you organize flour, sugar, and baking powder neatly on the same kitchen shelf. Compared to a glass container set with locking lids in the same sizes that costs almost double elsewhere, this is clearly a smart choice for your kitchen budget. 2. Mainstays 40-ounce stainless steel tumbler. A good tumbler doesn't just keep your coffee hot, it needs to survive being dropped from your car onto the pavement without getting dented. The 40-ounce Mainstays tumbler costs just $12, and over 700 5-star reviews on the website prove that this price tag doesn't mean cheap quality. The double-wall stainless steel keeps ice cubes melting slowly all day at work, while hot coffee stays warm for hours sitting in your car during the winter. The lid has a rubber seal that doesn't leak even when tipped sideways in a bag or backpack, a small detail that matters a lot for anyone always on the go. Many long-term users report that after more than 2 years of daily use, the outer steel finish still looks shiny without any dents or deep scratches, even after dropping it on concrete floors a few times. One user shared that he's carried this tumbler on construction sites for 3 years and dropped it more times than he can count, and the bottom still hasn't dented. The mouth of the tumbler fits most car cup holders, a small but practical bonus for anyone who drives long distances. With name-brand tumblers offering similar features often priced at triple this is worth considering if you want a durable tumbler without paying extra just for the name. 3. Drew Barrymore Swirled Wood Table Lamp. Furniture with a celebrity's name attached usually makes you think you're going to pay extra just for that name, but this table lamp is a notable exception. At $40, this lamp has a base made from real swirled wood, not fake wood or plastic, giving it a solid feel in your hands and on your table. The design follows a mid-century modern style, a look that never goes out of date whether you place it in a modern living room or a more classic bedroom. The base is weighted just enough that the lamp won't tip over from an accidental bump, and the wood finish doesn't peel or fade even after months of sitting near window sunlight. Many customers left reviews saying they bought this lamp to replace an old one whose base broke after just a year, and this new lamp is still standing strong after more than 2 years of daily use. Another customer wrote that she keeps this lamp in her reading room, turning it on and off almost every night, and the switch still works as smoothly as the day she bought it. The included burlap lampshade also doesn't yellow over time, something that's common with cheaper lamps after a few years of use. Compared to similar designer lamps at high-end furniture stores priced over $100, this is truly a steal for your living room. 4. Avia 5000 Performance Women's Sneakers. A cheap pair of sneakers usually has a short lifespan, with the stitching coming apart after just a few months of daily walking. But the Avia 5000 breaks that pattern at just $20. The sole has just the right amount of cushioning, offering good arch support during long walks or hours spent standing at work. The stitching around the toe and heel is reinforced, and it doesn't come apart even after you've walked several hundred miles, which is no small feat for a shoe at this price point. The rubber sole's grip gives you confidence on wet floors or slippery sidewalks on rainy days. Many older women share that they chose these sneakers for their morning walks, and after nearly a year of daily use, the soles still hold their original bounce without wearing unevenly like other cheap sneakers do. One user wrote that she wears these shoes every day at the park near her house, and after 8 months, the insole inside still feels as soft as when she first bought them, without going flat like her old shoes did. The mesh fabric on the toe box also breathes well, keeping your feet from overheating during walks under the sun. Overall, these sneakers look no different from premium athletic shoes priced 5 times as much, which surprises a lot of people once they find out the real price. But wait, this list isn't done yet. The next item is a set of tools you use every day at the dinner table, and it's far more durable than you'd imagine. 5. Better Homes and Gardens 20-piece stainless steel flatware set. Have you noticed how cheap flatware tends to tarnish or bend after just a few trips through the dishwasher? This 20-piece set costs $24, which works out to less than $1.20 per piece, but it feels heavier and sturdier in your hand than many flatware sets at a similar price. The stainless steel resists corrosion even with daily high-heat dishwasher cycles, keeping its shine over time without needing to be polished again. The design is timeless with no fancy patterns that go out of style easily, making it fit for both everyday family meals and dinner parties with guests. Many families report using this flatware set continuously for over 5 years without needing to replace a single piece, which is rare at this budget price point. One customer wrote that she bought this set to replace her old flatware whose handles had rusted after 2 years, and after 3 years, this new set hasn't shown any similar signs of wear. The fork tines also don't bend when piercing through tough meat, a small detail that shows the steel thickness was carefully engineered. Compared to premium flatware brands priced over $100 for the same number of pieces, this is a worthwhile choice for anyone wanting to upgrade their dinner table without blowing their budget. 6. Magic Pluck's 2-quart enameled cast iron pot. The compact size of this pot makes many people assume it's only good for simple dishes, but it's actually the most used piece in many small households' kitchens. At $24, this 2-quart enameled cast iron pot is heavy enough to hold steady heat for simmering soups or cooking casseroles over long periods. The enamel coating inside means you don't need to season it like traditional cast iron, and cleanup after cooking is much easier, just needing warm water and a soft sponge. The pot's weight is small but feels substantial, giving off the feel of a premium kitchen piece well beyond its actual price. Users who cook every day report that after years of use, the enamel coating still hasn't chipped or stained, even when cooking dishes with dark tomato-based sauces. One single user shared that this pot is just the right size for 1 or 2 servings, keeping her from cooking more food than she needs every time she's in the kitchen. The handles on both sides are also designed wide enough to grip with thick oven mitts without slipping. Compared to well-known cast iron brands priced over $100 for a similar size, this pot delivers nearly the same quality at a quarter of the price. You'd be awesome if you were still watching at this point. If you're finding this information helpful, a like will help this video reach more people. The next 2 items are directly tied to the refrigerator and cooking pot you use every day in your kitchen. 7. Arctic King Mini Fridge. Have you ever heard the story of a mini fridge that ran perfectly for 14 years without a single breakdown? That's exactly what many customers say about this Arctic King fridge, currently priced at $89 at Walmart. The compressor runs quietly, not making loud noise when placed in a bedroom or home office, and its power consumption is much lower than older mini fridge models. The door hinges are reinforced, staying tight without loosening or squeaking after years of daily opening and closing, and the rubber door seal still holds its tightness, keeping the inside temperature stable without the compressor having to run constantly. This is a popular choice for dorm rooms, small offices, or as a backup fridge in the garage. Some families report that this fridge has moved with them through 3 different moves and still runs as smoothly as the day they bought it. Another customer wrote that he's used this fridge in his garage to stock soda and drinks for his family for over a decade, only doing routine cleaning without ever needing to call a repairman. The small freezer compartment on top also holds enough for a few ice trays or frozen food for the week. At under $100 for an appliance with a lifespan measured in decades, this is clearly a smarter long-term investment than buying cheap fridges over and over again every few years. 8 Mainstays 4.75 quart enameled cast iron pot. The heavy weight of this pot is the first sign that this isn't a kitchen item made carelessly. At $30 for a nearly 5-quart enameled cast iron pot, the price might sound modest, but its heat retention and even heat distribution rival name brands that cost many times more. The enamel coating inside doesn't warp or chip even with frequent high heat cooking, and cleanup is much simpler than traditional raw cast iron. Many longtime home cooks say they use this pot for braising beef, cooking bean soup, or making no-knead bread, and after years of nearly weekly use, the pot still holds its original shape without any signs of wear. The stable heat retention helps food cook evenly from the inside out, something thin metal pots simply can't match. One user wrote that she used to pay almost 5 times this amount for a foreign brand cast iron pot in the past, but the Mainstays pot cooks just as well for a fraction of the price. The lid is also fairly heavy, helping trap steam better when simmering dishes that need long cooking times. Compared to premium cast iron brands priced over $150, this Mainstays pot delivers comparable cooking performance at a fifth of the price. 9. Iho 6x4 foot outdoor metal storage shed. Is your backyard cluttered with gardening tools, old bikes, or kids' toys left out in the rain and sun? The Iho metal shed, measuring 6 feet by 4 feet and priced at $152, is made from galvanized steel that withstands hail, harsh sun, heavy rain, and even thick snowfall without rusting or rotting over time. The steel frame is reinforced at the corners, keeping the structure from warping even in areas with strong wind year-round. The shed door has a sturdy latch lock, protecting expensive tools like lawn mowers or bicycles from petty theft in the neighborhood. Many homeowners report that they installed this shed years ago, went through several harsh winters, and still haven't seen any rust on the frame or roof to this day. One homeowner wrote that he assembled it himself in about 2 hours without needing a professional, and after 3 storm seasons, it's still standing without the roof blowing off. The shed floor is also designed slightly raised off the ground, keeping rainwater from pooling and causing mold on items stored inside. Compared to hiring someone to build a permanent wood shed, which can cost thousands of dollars, this assembled metal solution saves money and is easy to move if you relocate in the future. The list still has plenty of surprises ahead, especially 2 kitchen items that many families consider the secret to good cooking for decades. 10. Mainstays pre-seasoned cast iron skillet. There aren't many kitchen items that get better the longer you use them, but a cast iron skillet is a rare exception to that rule. At just $14, this pre-seasoned cast iron skillet from Mainstays is almost a lifetime investment for anyone who loves cooking at home. The natural non-stick coating forms from cooking oil soaking into the cast iron surface with each use, and this layer only gets thicker and smoother over time, rather than peeling off like chemically coated non-stick pans. Fried eggs or seared meat cooked on a cast iron skillet has a flavor and crispiness that's completely different from a regular pan, something many home cooks confirm after switching from non-stick to cast iron. This skillet is nearly indestructible under normal use, even if you accidentally drop it on a hard tile kitchen floor. Many families even pass their cast iron skillet down from generation to generation, and after decades of use, it still cooks just as well as day one, sometimes even better thanks to the oil buildup over time. One user wrote that the skillet she inherited from her mother is over 20 years old, and it's still the pan she uses most in her kitchen, even more than the expensive non-stick pans she bought later. Just remember to dry it immediately after washing to prevent rust, and add a thin layer of oil after each use to keep that non-stick coating in top shape. 11. Ninja Neverstick 14 Piece Cookware and Bakeware Set. If you've ever tossed out a non-stick pan after just a few months because the coating peeled off in chunks, this set was made to fix exactly that problem. At $98 for 14 pieces, this may sound pricier than other items on this list, but it comes with a 10-year warranty, a number rarely seen in the home cookware category. The Never Stick coating doesn't peel or blister even with prolonged high-heat cooking, unlike cheap non-stick pans that only last a few dozen uses before wearing down. Heat spreads evenly across the bottom of the pot, cooking food uniformly without needing constant stirring, and cleanup after cooking only takes one light wash, no overnight soaking required. The set includes pots, pans, and baking sheets, enough to fully equip your entire kitchen without needing to buy any extra pieces separately. Many large families report that after more than 3 years of daily use for both cooking and baking, this set still performs as well as the day it was unboxed. Clear proof that spending on quality still beats repeatedly buying cheap replacements. One customer wrote that she returned 3 different cheap cookware sets over 2 years before deciding to buy this one, and since then, she hasn't had to think about buying new pans again. The handles on the pieces in this set also don't get hot during long stovetop cooking, making things safer for older adults in the kitchen. But this isn't the end. The next 2 items are small and inexpensive, yet they quietly help out with daily life for far more families than you'd think. 12. Mainstay's 5-cup coffee maker. Sometimes the most durable item in the kitchen is the simplest one, without a touch screen or a fussy phone connection feature. The Mainstay's 5-cup coffee maker costs $14.96, and the simplicity of its design is exactly its biggest strength. No complex circuit board means fewer parts that can break down over time, unlike premium coffee makers with touchscreens that often develop glitches after a few years. The mechanical button clicks with a solid feel without lagging or responding slowly like some newer models, and the included carafe keeps coffee warm for a reasonable amount of time after brewing. Many users share that they've used this coffee maker every morning for years without ever needing repairs or replacement parts. One older couple wrote that they bought this to replace an expensive coffee maker whose circuit board failed after just a year, and this simple machine has run steadily for over 4 years without a single issue. Its compact size also fits kitchens with limited counter space or small hotel-style rooms. At under $15, this is one of the highest value to durability ratio appliances you'll find on this entire list. 13. Sterilite 50-quart storage bin. Is your shed, attic, or closet full of flimsy plastic bins that crack at the corners after just one move? The Sterilite 50-quart storage bin, priced at $12.98, is built to handle much more weight than typical cheap plastic bins, thanks to thicker walls and reinforced corner ribs. The stackable design lets you make the most of vertical space in your shed or attic instead of spreading things out across the floor. The lid fits tightly onto the base, keeping dust and small bugs from getting inside and protecting seasonal clothing or holiday decorations from mold and mildew. Many families use this bin to store Christmas decorations year after year, taking it out and putting it away once a year, and to this day, it still hasn't cracked despite the bumps it takes during handling. One customer wrote that she bought 8 of these bins to reorganize her entire attic, and after 4 years and 2 moves, none of them cracked at the corners like the cheap plastic bins she used before. Removable wheels can also be added to some versions, making it much easier to move heavy bins around. At under $13 for a bin that holds so much, this is a smart storage solution for anyone wanting to get their home more organized. You just heard about the 13 most worthwhile items on this list, but the next part is just as important because there are 3 items at Walmart you should avoid if you don't want to keep wasting money buying replacements over and over. 1. Regular non-stick pans. Not everything cheap is worth buying, and cheap non-stick pans are the clearest example of this. At around $15, these regular non-stick pans look like a great deal at first, but the coating inside usually starts peeling after just a few weeks of regular use. Scratches show up even if you only use wooden spoons instead of metal utensils, and once the non-stick coating fails, food starts sticking to the bottom, turning everyday cooking into a headache. The pan bottom also tends to warp with prolonged high heat exposure, causing uneven contact with the stovetop and leading to food cooking unevenly. Many users share that they end up buying a new pan every 6 months to a year, and over time, that ends up costing more than investing once in a set with a long warranty like the one mentioned earlier. One homemaker wrote that she bought 4 of these pans over 3 years, and the total cost added up to more than the price of the Ninja Neverstick set with its 10-year warranty. If your budget allows, choosing a pan with a higher quality coating from the start will save you both money and the hassle of shopping for replacements over and over. 2. Basic plastic food containers. The difference between airtight plastic containers and basic plastic containers isn't just about price, it's about whether your food goes bad early or not. A basic plastic container set costs around $10, which sounds like a good deal, but the lids usually don't seal tightly against the base, letting air and moisture sneak in and making food dry out or lose freshness after just a few days of storage. The thin plastic also cracks easily when you take it straight from the freezer to use right away, a habit common in a lot of busy households. Small bugs like rice weevils can easily slip through the gap between the lid and the container if you use it to store flour or grains for a long time. Many people have complained about having to throw out entire containers of rice or flour just because they found bugs inside after a few weeks of storage, a waste that could have easily been avoided. One homemaker shared that she lost nearly $5 worth of flour just because her basic plastic container wasn't sealed, while the price difference to buy an airtight container wouldn't even cover the value of that ruined flour. Compared to spending a little extra to buy airtight locking containers like the ones mentioned earlier in this video, continuing to use basic plastic containers just means spending more money buying new food more often. 3. Cheap blenders. A quick morning smoothie before work turns into an annoying chore if you own a blender with a weak motor. Cheap blenders priced around $20 usually have low-power motors, causing the blades to spin slowly and dull faster than expected, especially when you're blending ice cubes or frozen fruit regularly. After a few months of use, many people notice the blender starting to make unusually loud noise or give off a slight burning smell, a sign that the motor is being overworked. The joint between the pitcher and the base is also often made of thin plastic, which cracks easily if you're twisting it on and off every day. Many customer reviews report that their cheap blender stopped working entirely after about 6 months, while blenders in a slightly higher price range, even at roughly double the cost, can run well for years. One user wrote that she had to buy 3 cheap blenders within 2 years just to make her morning smoothies, and eventually realized the combined cost ended up being much more than one strong motor blender bought once and used for the long haul. If you make smoothies every day, spending a bit more upfront on a stronger motor blender will save you from having to keep buying new ones. Looking back at this whole list, you can clearly see the difference between a product made with care and one that's just chasing the lowest possible price. Investing in quality from the start doesn't just save you money in the long run, it also saves you the time and patience of having to replace something that broke after just a few months of use. Walmart actually has plenty of durable items hiding among thousands of products on the shelves. The only question is whether you know how to spot them. Out of the 16 items mentioned today, which deal surprised you the most? And which one will you be picking up on your next Walmart trip? Leave a comment and let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next smart shopping video. See you in the next one.